Hi there, this is Susie. Back again, I guess, but it's been a long time coming back, but I apologize for that because I have had quite a few busy months where lots of things has happened, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's about time I did a video too, otherwise my followers would wonder, where is Susie? Let's go and find Susie. But here she is, indeed, and I'd just like to talk about some of the Monsteras, or, you know, the commonly known as the philodendron, in the family of philodendron actually. And in front of me I have got a, I guess you would call it a plant of the year, if you like to call it. It's a variegated Monstera Thai Constellation, and I have been literally flat chat, really busy, posting them out to some of my well-known clients and members from my group or other groups that would like one of these, you know, and they are certainly not a cheap plant to own, but I guess if you love something, if you want something, and if you've got money, I guess it will fetch right up to $200 to $300 mark. So it depends where you get it from, whom you get it from. Price do differ, and which supplier or the grower you get them from. Now, this particular Thai constellation, as you know, is obviously grown from their seedlings or seeds to seedling stages, and they have been potted or repotted in this size pot with mainly peat moss, seedling mix, and coconut coir. And I can't see any perlite or vermiculite that has been mixed in it. It appears to be that they have definitely have used a lot of peat moss in this potting mix as a medium. Now, the medium is generally used peat moss simply because there is a vigorous, quick growth of these particular plants. That's one reason they have used peat moss, and obviously they would have had used a lot of hormones to grow them rather quickly and put them out on the market to sell on the market as soon as possible. So this is why they are grown really quickly, vigorously, under certain condition. They obviously would have had the right temperature environment in hot houses or greenhouses, and set temperatures, you know, and also what they have been fed. But I, as a seller, I just buy them and of course off-sell to a lot of people. Now, what I would like to talk to them about is it's just a beautiful variegation, really. As you can see in this particular one, you get half to half variegation leaves, or you get a galaxy star look on all leaves, and each leaf obviously differs. And here's a new one that is about to unfurl, which is really lovely to see when they unfurl. And of course, like many others, you get very good penetrations in their leaves. Fenestration is the little cuts that they have in their leaves, and each individual leaf has got its own little character. So that's worth noting, that it is not going to come out as half and half, as you can see in this particular leaf. Maybe down the track, one of the leaves may form like this or may not, but generally you would expect lots of galaxy-like little splotches on the leaves. Now, what I would like to really talk about these so-called Thai constellation monsteras is about care. when you get this plant at home, whether it be posted out to you, whatever, it might take a day, it might take 2 days, it might take even a week to get to some of the remote parts of Australia. Now, when you get it, make sure you check the soil, that the soil is nicely damp, and if it isn't, when you poke your hand, you will see a lot of dampness. When it's damp, like you get some, you know, the little medium on your hand, which means that the soil is really quite damp, so you don't need to water it, which is about 2 centimeters down in the soil. You put your little finger in and test. Now that's how I test whether a plant needs water or not. So when you get it at home, you make sure that you test it first. I mean, if the leaves are looking a bit droopy, a bit tired, obviously it's gone through a bit of stress in traveling, and you do give a cup to 2 cups of water. And if you have not osmocote, the sea salt, sorry. And sea salt is really good for uplift a plant when they are stressed out. It is a toner rather than a feeder of any sort. It just brings plants to life. So if you've got a sea salt at home, you mix it and make sure you give a couple of cups of drink if the soil is dry. In this case, the soil is wet, so I wouldn't really do much with it. And then you leave it somewhere for at least 2 to 3 to a month in a position, and make that position sort of permanent position as to where you are going to have this plant. This, unlike the other Monsteras, which is just a normal Monstera Deliciosas and the other variegated Monstera Bosnia, this particular plant is tissue cultured, which means that it has been hybridized through tissue culture. So you have to be very careful regarding the condition of this particular plant, where it does not like any sun on it at all, but it may prefer the morning, fairly early morning sun, because it's very dim light, sunlight in the morning, and it does not mind at least half an hour of fairly early morning sun, but not throughout the day, because the leaves, you will more likely to burn the leaves in the hot sunny days. So try to find a position in your home where it's brightly lit, lots of bright lights near a window, away from direct sunlight, and more bright indirect light is what it prefers. So make sure the positioning is good, and a lot of fresh air. It does not like already stagnant air, so make sure that it gets the fresh air around it. And after a month, as I was saying, from its possession, you then need to start thinking, number one, trying to change the soil. Now, if you're happy with the soil that it comes in, normally I personally am not very happy when I get new plants home. I like to change the soil. So changing the soil is an art. You just can't add this to that, that to this, and make sure, and you think that that's it. You try to kind of balance the soil, different type of soil mixes to a plant. For this particular plant, I will leave it in its position for at least a month, let it get used to it as a permanent position, and leave it for a month. And then after a month, before the winter rises or before the winter comes, you repot your plant if you can. And try not to sort of repot it during winter, because you don't want to lose a very expensive plant. So autumn is generally okay, winter leave it, and then you can repot again in spring if you wish. Now, repotting is usually I use, I don't go buying expensive stuff like perlite or vermiculite. It does not mean that you can't use them. It is a good drainage, water absorption materials that you can use, but I just like to use natural, as much natural, organic matter for this particular plant. So I go and get myself a nice, good quality premium mix, a bag of succulent and cacti mix, and a bit of, you can use, instead of vermiculite, you can substitute it with a little bit of peat moss to it. That is a good absorption. It will keep the moisture in, so you don't have to water all the time like this. If you had a vermiculite, that would do the same thing. And if you want to use a bit of perlite, succulent and cacti mix is also a good substitute. So that's what I like to use as in substitution of different types of soil. So you use a third of each, like a good premium quality mixed soil, succulent and cacti mix, and then you would use the orchid mix in this case, or you could use, as I said, peat soil, you know, peat moss, and mix it all in, and then you can take it out of its container and leave it in a, get yourself a bigger bowl of, bigger pot as well. Like this is only a 15 centimeter pot, so you would probably need a 20 centimeter pot, and then put it in a nice plastic pot, and then hopefully that you will get yourself a nice display pot to put your plastic pot inside, outside it, a nice display pot to display a beautiful Monstera. Now, the other thing is that feeding. If you need to feed your plants, make sure that you feed it with some sort of organic matter is the best, like seaweed, eco seaweed, or Osmocote, organic Osmocote, and Yates have brought out a lot of organic liquid feeds out there, so you can either use dynamic liquid feed, or even you can put a couple of pellets of dynamic lifter once a month or so, and see how your plants are reacting to new feeding style, feeding fertilizers to your plant. I personally prefer just this all-purpose Yates, really. It's my favorite only because I've always used this, and also the dynamic lifter. Now, as you know, you can buy dynamic lifter in liquid form instead of pellets. So these are some of the things that would keep your Monsteras nice and healthy without any trouble. I mean, if you feed with fertilizer, change the soil after a month in a bigger pot, 20 centimeter pot, and make sure that you do not shift your indoor plants from one place to another, because they get stressed out. Amount of light they're receiving, the temperature differences inside the house, the lighting issues, and they just hate it. So try to get a nice position for them where they will be nice and comfortable. Having said that, also I was going to talk about is the temperature of what they really like. You know, I mean, as in a good rotation between the temperature that many indoor house plants like is between 15 to 25 degrees. Anything lower, you need to really take care of your plants, like 10 degrees or 5 degrees. And if it gets higher to 30 degrees, you know, it's a little bit too hot for your Monstera. So balancing your temperature inside your house is also important. And if you overwater, when the temperature inside your house is about 5 degrees, more likely you're going to get brown bits, you know, a lot of brown patches, and that's not what you want. And that is a good sign of overwatering your Monsteras. And secondly, having high temperatures, you will find that leaves are a little bit droopy, because amount of moisture that the plant has is obviously like our skin, you know, they kind of look funny, dry, and all that sort of thing. And likewise with Monstera leaves as well, they won't be as healthy. So what you need to do is make sure that during summer months you feed, water feed, or liquid feed with a bit of fertilizer often enough, you know, like water feed every 3 to 4 days with water, and say once a month with liquid feed with fertilizer. Now, that's if there is any questions or something, you can send me via my YouTube. Any questions you may have, and I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you for watching my video, and nice to see you all. Bye for now.